Hello and welcome to Soupbox, the podcast where we give people a soapbox to talk about their favorite kinds of soup. And by soup, I mean games. I'm your host, Tyron Batten, the analogy extraordinaire. And joining me today is Trice Batten, my
Hi.
brother.
I am Trice Batten. I was brought here against my will and told to stand on a soapbox.
Yeah, it's not really optional. You're going to
Yeah.
have to stand there.
My goodness. Okay. What are we doing here again? Talking about soup?
So we're going to be talking about soup, which is actually, it just means games, because we like games and we like to talk about games. And I thought it'd be fun if we could make a podcast where we get to talk about them, but like in a public fashion.
So how does soup relate to games?
Well, I kind of had this idea of like, games are kind of like warm and comforting and like
Okay, gotcha.
I like soup and I like
Okay.
games. I think that's my association with the two.
So what would chili be?
Chili would be like, that'd be like a good puzzler.
Why?
It's always consistent. It always feels
It's
good.
very not consistent.
Chili's consistent.
There are so many different types of chilies.
I know, but they
Why
always
do you think there are chili contests? You don't see contests for tomato soup because tomato soup is constant.
No, because tomato soup is not interesting though. I feel like chili's too interesting to like I think
Yeah, but it's not constant.
no, but there's different kinds of puzzlers. It's just they always have a I don't know, man. This isn't a good like I don't want to
I'm not saying your analogy's wrong. You are the analogy extraordinaire.
I know.
But
I'm just going to say that I like chili, I like soup, and I like games. So let's talk about some games.
all right.
All right.
What games are we talking about today?
So believe it or not, I had a great idea for the first episode of my gaming podcast.
Yeah.
I thought we could talk about some mobile games.
Oh, that's how you show people we're real hardcore gamers.
That's right. We're going to talk about some games you can play on your phone. One of these we actually played on the Switch, but it's still also on iPhone. So we figured we could squeeze it in there as our first mobile gaming episode.
Yeah, I can't really play what are we doing now? Because I did play all these games in preparation for this, so.
Exactly. So we're going to be talking about Fortnite Mobile.
Yeah, PUBG Mobile.
PUBG Mobile and Roblox for the iPhone.
Oh my goodness.
So we're real
So
excited. No, because I don't want to. I don't want to talk about those games because one, I've never played them.
Just a few underground indie developers. They are indie.
Not one of them. Well, I guess
Epic,
probably
no.
indie, but not
Fortnite-
exactly.
Fortnite's not indie.
Oh, we're talking. I thought you were talking about the real ones. No, we're not going to be talking about Fortnite, Minecraft, Roblox, or whatever, PUBG. None of those. We're going to be talking about three actually pretty cool games from last year. The first one we're going to be talking about is called Donut County, a game where you control a hole.
Hole.
You're actually playing as a raccoon who's controlling a hole that is sucking in everything in the town to, help his raccoon leaders.
Why don't we just talk about that?
Let's talk about that.
Let's not even mention the other games we're going to talk about.
Let's not even
It'll be
mention
a
about
fun
it.
surprise.
So one thing I do want to say is that we're, if these are like, there's only one game where this really is going to matter, but we're going to be talking about any spoilery type things. I don't really want to put any.
Yeah.
If there's like a major spoiler that we want to like talk about, we can like preempt it, but we're not going to put any restrictions on what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. So, and all three of these games are really short.
They're really short, and you can play them in 45 minutes if you want to.
Yeah.
Well, like one in particular is
don't-
45 minutes long.
Yeah.
And if you want to like get these games done before you listen to this, if you care that much,
you could get all these games done in a day if you want.
Mm-hmm. So Donut County, our first one, it's only a couple hours long. Like, I think it took me like 2 hours to beat.
Yeah, it took me about 2 hours too.
And I was really excited about it just looking at it from a glance. I was like, this looks like a cool little indie Katamari type game where you're controlling a hole that sucks
Yeah.
in a town, and it's pretty funny. Like, there's the first thing I would talk about is like the humor that there's like there's this weird like story where this raccoon is like just kind of, you know,
Friends with this girl.
yeah,
And then the girl like starts complaining about this honking outside of her window, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Don't worry, no problem." And then all of a sudden, this hole appears and sucks down the guy that was honking
yeah.
in his little scooter. And
And then
she's
like that's right before, is that after or before the title screen, like the where you start by putting the donut county name into a hole.
yeah, no, I think that was before the title screen.
Anyways, it just kind of introduces this mechanic in a really strange way.
Yeah.
Where you're this raccoon who lives in this town and is working for this company who wants to put things into the hole.
Yeah, and then it's later revealed, spoilers.
This is where we're going to talk about spoilers if you care. It's a really short game.
Thanks. That's what saying spoilers does.
I know, but you want to give like a little bit of brevity so that they can have time to get out if they care.
Spoilers is all raccoons that have somehow developed this app where you can suck down things, and the reason is so that they can collect a bunch of garbage. Because of course raccoons love garbage.
Yeah, that's right. And like you can see this strange story, like even just in the like text, like I didn't really think about it till later in the game, but all the like descriptions of the items you've sucked in.
Yeah,
like,
they're all collected in a Trashopedia.
Yeah, every level ends with like the Trashopedia, which is everything you sucked into your hole at the end of the
encyclopedia
level.
of trash.
Yeah, but they like all have really funny descriptions. Like,
Oh, I didn't actually read.
did you read them?
No.
They're all like from the perspective of the raccoons. Like, it's like I can't think of one right now, but they're like it would be like I don't know, like there's a car. I'm making this one up. This probably isn't real, but there's like a car that like is described as the rolly beeper that's really annoyingly loud.
The rolly beeper. Really
Like they all give them weird names and like names that just describe them as like an annoying thing. Like the raccoons are seeing all these items and thinking of them as trash, so they're describing them as these things they just want to get rid of. It's really funny. Like, are you looking them up right now?
Yeah.
Some of them?
Yeah, I'm gonna find one. Cardboard box. It's a free house. Don't let it get wet.
Yeah. Like, it's all from the perspective of a raccoon. It's funny. Ooh.
Some of them I don't understand. Helmet protects you from cows? Question mark.
Here, I got a couple. I got one. This one's really good. This is their description for a chicken. It's one thing to own a chicken, but 2 chickens, that's 2 things. They're really good. I honestly, that was the funniest part of the game for me, was reading those little descriptions.
Okay, here's a question for you, because I have no idea. So in every once in a while, it'll have these sections just to progress the story where you're texting, the raccoon and the girl are texting.
Oh yeah.
And you just hit reply over and over. It's no
basic.
different than just hitting A for the text to move.
Yeah.
But you can either hit reply
The
or some weird emoji thing.
duck, right? Isn't it a duck?
Is it a duck?
I thought it was a duck.
I had absolutely no idea what it was. It's like a yellow square.
I thought it looked like a duck to me, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm misremembering.
Or maybe there's multiple emojis you could get, because mine didn't look like a duck.
I don't know. I assume
Unless I
it was
saw
a
it wrong.
duck. It looks like a duck to me. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. This thing? Is this what yours looked like?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a duck.
How is that a duck?
It's a duck. Look, this picture is from the trophy for the game called Quack Enthusiast. So I'm assuming you get that trophy for just hitting the duck emoji a whole bunch.
I definitely hit it as many times as I could, because if you hit the duck emoji, the person on the other line, whether it's the girl or someone else, it's usually the girl though, just more and more they said duck emojis back. So
Yeah, they
it's
just
a
keep
fun
going.
conversation.
I was always sad when you did it. They didn't reply. I was like, oh. It was usually because they had sent like, why are you destroying the town? And then you hit a duck emoji, and I was like, dang it, they didn't reply. Yeah, there was just a dumb little, I don't know. I don't think it didn't change the dialogue, I assume. It's just you can either choose to reply to what the girl is texting you or to hit the duck emoji, and this is a fun little thing.
Yeah, it's fun.
So what do you think about the gameplay, the like main mechanic of sucking stuff into your hole?
Honestly, it's all fun, but it's probably like the actual gameplay. It's probably one of the weaker ones of this genre of like you're a small thing and so you can only eat quote unquote because so many Flash games have this.
Yeah, sure.
Where it's like, oh, you're a little fish and you have to eat fish that are smaller than you, so then you can eat bigger
those
fish.
like shark games and stuff like that.
It's all, like it's a Flash games. Katamari is
a prime example.
It's my favorite one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Katamari is my favorite one, and so for this, it probably was weaker. Definitely not as good as Katamari, but I'm not like
It wasn't terrible.
no, not at all. It was fun. It was funny. It looked good.
But I definitely think like the visuals and the music and the humor is what carried the game for me. Like I feel like I was doing the main mechanic of sucking stuff in just because I thought, yeah, this is funny. Like
yeah.
like getting different people sucked into the hole and seeing how they reacted to things.
Yeah, there's a few fun ones. Like there would be these little snakes that are coiled up and sleeping.
Yeah.
And then the moment you go under them, they'd start jumping around and squiggling all over everywhere.
Yeah.
Like flopping around.
And like some of the characters would like kind of avoid your stuff. Like I just
Yeah.
remember sometimes they'd be like peeking out a window, like, oh no, like kind of freaking out that all these things are getting sucked into a hole.
There was a couple puzzle elements to it, which
small things like shooting stuff out of the hole mostly. Like the fortress is probably the biggest example of like this big maze, like kind of.
There's
not
so
huge,
there's
but...
a whole like so the whole thing's done by this app in it.
Yeah,
like it's the Trash Panda.
Yeah,
the Trash Panda's app, and he can buy stuff on it when he gets points from sucking up things into his hole, and one of the things he can buy is a catapult attachment, which lets you shoot things out of the hole that are sucked in. And so that starts to be where the puzzle stuff comes from, because you'll have to like, oh, you suck in a chicken, and then you shoot the chicken up, and while the chicken
will fly in the air so it can land on stuff.
Yeah, so it's slowly floating down. So while you do that, you have to run over, or I don't know how to describe a hole's movement.
Yeah.
You move over to a section where you can pull a sandbag down, which pulls a switch, which opens up a thing for the chicken. But the puzzle elements were pretty small to me. I just think out of all of these types of games, it was gameplay wise, it was kind of weaker.
I agree. I feel like for me, it felt a little too like, especially in the early ones before you get to the more interesting mechanics of like the catapult and stuff. I feel like the first little while it feels like, oh, I'm just looking for the next smallest thing, like next thing that's the small, like I get from one thing to the next, and then just kind of move around in a circle till you can find the next one that fits in your size hole.
And there's two ways to make that a little bit more challenging. The way Katamari did it was time. So you had to do it within
there's
no
time limit for this one.
Right?
It's like you're just kind of moving from objective to the next.
The ways that a bunch of other like the way Flash games did it was you'd be a small fish and you're eating fish that are smaller than you while also avoiding the fish that are bigger than you eating you. Yeah. But it's really
I don't think there's any
There's no obstacles. Really, if you just kind of moved your joystick in a circular motion over and over, eventually you'd probably beat the level. And I'm not actually against those, because if the gameplay, is fun. I'm not one of those guys that's like,
It's
oh,
just-
there's
there do-
no
yeah.
challenge.
There doesn't have to be like this hard, difficult.
Yeah.
Like you can die. Like
Yeah.
your hole can get
Like
filled
if
in
it's
with
just
sand
if
or whatever.
it's just a fun game and the mechanics are generally fun to play around with, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like, but I just don't think that the mechanics were crazy fun
Right.
like Katamari.
I think just for me, like I haven't played Katamari that much, but when I have, I like always. My favorite part about it was always like, you know, trying like getting to the next big size thing. Like once you think you're like close enough, I think I can grab that big thing now.
Yeah.
And then once you get there and like it starts to get bigger and bigger, I think for this one it was less enjoyable to like, because you're not building something, you're just taking away stuff. So it's like you don't see as much as
all you see is your hole getting bigger. And
and everything disappears. Where I feel like Katamari has this more. I don't want to keep comparing it to Katamari because they're different games. Like they have a similar type of gameplay, but I think there's just more enjoyment of building your giant ball than just getting a bigger hole.
Yeah,
that's all. Yeah, the music and the visuals are
really
awesome. Good. Like those things, like the character designs, I actually really like. Like I kind of like this. It kind of like it feels like I don't know what. It's like I don't know. The visuals give me this like early, like animation style, like first three like CG graphics, like these old CG shows and stuff
where there's like no shading.
Yeah,
and it's just
it kind of had this cool style that I like, and the music really complemented it. I really like every time you complete a level that bop, 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 like this kind of rapid music style.
The character design was good. Like the girl and the raccoon were all right, but each level is like they're all trapped underneath the earth because they were all sucked into the hole, and every character is telling their story of like how the hole destroyed their home or whatever it is.
And them like getting mad at, I believe his name is BK.
Yeah, BK the raccoon and Mila?
Something like that.
The girl's name. And
here, I'll get a plot description for this.
I enjoyed all the designs of the characters. There was two called Salt and Pepper, which were like these, they looked like clay salt and pepper shakers. Their holes were just their faces were just three holes.
Okay.
So it's like,
I don't think I remember that, but yeah.
Yeah, there were some cool designed characters.
I like how when you get the quadcopter, the like drone looking thing.
Yeah.
It just destroys it right away. Like,
oh yeah, so the whole time you're saving up for this quadcopter.
Yeah, because BK is so excited because he wants to keep working for this company so he can finally get his quadcopter drone that he can fly around.
And then immediately when he gets it, the girl destroys it because he's been destroying the town.
Yeah, and she's like, how does that make you feel?
Yeah,
and he's like, oh man.
But then, of course, spoilers again. At the credits,
you get it back.
You get it back, and you get to. The credits are actually really cool.
Yeah, the credits were cool. You get to fly around the like main opening area.
Yeah, so they're rebuilding the town basically.
Yeah,
and every character is shown. Like, there's one guy that was selling illegal fireworks, and now he's selling all these stuff that were stolen from the hole.
Yeah,
and one hacker dude that's just in the donut shop with 3 computers in front of hacking, and you just get to go around, look at what all the characters are doing while looking at the credits. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. And the boss was really fun too.
Oh yeah, there's a last boss.
It's like the only like
I wasn't
enemy.
Expecting. I was 100% expecting something like Katamari, where the last thing is you making like Katamari. You make a ball so big you're basically sucking up or grabbing stuff the entire world.
Yeah.
And by the end, you're grabbing continents into your giant ball. I was expecting more something like that, where it turned out to be a boss rather than you just making a giant hole so big, which was way cooler.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was like a giant like copter, right? Like it was like
Yeah, a giant
drone,
quadcopter.
like what you were working up towards, and now it's fighting against you.
Yeah, it's great.
It was great. Yeah, and the satisfaction of sucking in the whole fortress at the end with your giant hole is really great.
Oh yeah.
Um, I like this game a lot. Trice, I'd like you to give me your best soup comparison for what you think this game is. We were talking about how Chili is like puzzle games. I know you don't agree with me, but that's
Okay.
kind of what we want to do with this.
Okay. If Chili is puzzle games,
Mm-hmm.
then this game is maybe no. It's got to be clam chowder.
Clam chowder. I like it.
Is chowder? No, does chowder count as
Chowders
a soup?
count. I kind of decided early that we are going to include all spoon based hot liquid, even cold ones like gazpacho and stuff. If it classifies under soup, chowder, or stew, we're gonna consider
But I
it.
guess I don't know if this is an objective point of view though, because I'm not a crazy fan of clam chowder.
I am though.
But you are. See, this is why it doesn't work.
It's
we
not
might
about-
not
okay.
each have different soups.
That's fair.
Anyway, this is why it's my soup, is because I always smell clam chowder and I see clam chowder and I find it very appetizing.
Yeah,
And when I taste it, I'm like, okay.
it's all right. Okay.
And this game is good and fun. I feel like we're dogging on it because it's not everything we hope to be. It's still good and fun game.
It's still good. I think it was just such a short experience that I was ready for one more act, like one more like, and now we're going to space or something like that.
Okay.
Like something like I feel like it needed a post game. Hey, now there's another set of levels you can do. You know? It felt like
post
that,
game would be fun. Yeah.
or even like adding a now you can do the levels again, but there's an added difficulty. I don't know.
Yeah, a timed mode even
Yeah,
would just be cool.
yeah, that would be cool actually. Just set a 3-minute clock on each level.
Which I guess we can do on our own too.
Yeah, but that's no fun.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
All right, so we're gonna give this Donut County a clam chowder rating. I think that's a pretty good score.
Okay.
You've decided it for both of us. I
Okay.
agree with your decision.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, so we're gonna move on to our next game. Now, this one is a much more emotional game, I would say. This one is
Get ready.
it's
Get
called-
your tissues ready.
so this game is called Florence, and it is this is our shortest game on this list, actually.
Yeah.
Probably is it shorter than Part-time UFO?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
For sure. Well, it depends.
Depends on how you
playing
play.
it.
If
If you're skipping a bunch of levels.
if you like,
Oh wait, you spoiled what the last
it's
game
okay.
was.
It's okay. They'll forgive us.
No.
So Florence, it's like 45, probably less than an hour at the most. Like it's a single story that you are playing through. Like
This one, let's just say this from the get-go. This whole thing is spoilers.
yes, I agree. When we start talking about like the peak, like final parts of the story, we'll kind of say something just so you have a chance to get away. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about the whole story. So if you want, honestly, I really recommend just playing this game right now, pausing this if you're listening, just stopping it and playing through it, and then coming back because
Go buy it. It's like
it's $4.
$4 Canadian.
I don't know what it is American, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's super cheap. It's like it's gonna be a really cool experience, and like I would, buy it and then make your girlfriend or whoever play it as well, so you get some playtime out of it because it's awesome.
Yeah.
So Florence is a story about a girl named Florence
Mm-hmm.
who is living a kind of mediocre day-to-day life where she is going to work and coming back home and doing her
Yeah,
regular routine.
She's an accountant or something.
Some sort of, she's finances.
Yeah, everything in this game's pretty vague because I think they want you to like.
There's no dialogue in the game.
Yeah.
Like you don't get, except for like a couple like things, phone
Yeah.
call things. Like you don't, there's no actual dialogue between the characters. Like
Yeah.
you're just seeing what's happening through their kind of like mind. Like you're kind of experiencing how they're feeling based on like their actions and stuff.
Yeah.
Like to set it up, we're talking about her having this kind of mediocre day-to-day life, where she's just, going to work, coming home, brushing her teeth, and going to bed, and listening to music on the way to work and whatever. And it's all what you'd expect from a mid-20-year-old who just has a boring accountant job, basically.
Yeah.
And the way you experience it is like you go through her entire day. Like, you start by waking up, like you hit the alarm, and you have to like hit it multiple times to like get yourself up. Like I think you hit the snooze button.
Yeah.
Like
you hit snooze
like you
a few
normally do.
times.
You hit snooze a couple times and like don't want to get up, but eventually you help her to get up. And then you get like ready for work.
You brush your teeth and you just move your finger back and forth, swiping back and forth on your phone.
Yeah,
to brush your teeth. It makes you go through everything.
It kind of simulates what her day is like with your involvement by making you brush your teeth. And
I think you eat breakfast. You eat little portions of your breakfast.
And like going to work is actually pretty boring too. Like it's trying to make it feel boring because she's obviously is not happy with her job based on her reaction. Like it makes you match different numbers together so that you can go through her work day.
5 and 5, like it just shows like a bunch of different numbers on board, and you just have to tap the ones that match, and that's it. And then your mom will call you, and your only options are being very, very evasive to your mom.
Before that, even your option is to hang up. Not answer the phone call.
You can hang up, or you can answer. And
I'm assuming you said, because it sounded like you just said yes every time.
I just answered, yeah.
But if you choose to not take the call, it'll just your mom will immediately call you back, like your mom would do.
Over and over? How many times?
I think you can do it forever, and she'll always call you back.
Okay.
So if you're at a random point in the day, your mom will call you. Florence's mom will call her, and you can choose to hang up or not. And if you hang up, she'll just keep calling you. And so then when you talk to her, it's Florence, like, with these very canned responses.
Yeah, like, no, you only hear one side of the conversation, and it's very small portions. It's like, no, I'm fine. No, you don't need to find a boyfriend for me.
Yeah.
I have to work. I'm really busy.
Or just okay, mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple okays. Just anything that can make it go faster, it seems like.
Yeah. So you're going through a whole day, and then it takes you home, and you like do the normal routine of going to, having dinner, going to bed.
You even have to, when she's taking the bus to work, you take the bus to work and play on your phone. You look at Instagram on your phone.
Yeah.
And you can choose
that's right. Yeah.
whether to heart something or retweet it or reblog it or whatever it is.
It's very like mindless. Like it doesn't even really show you what you're looking at or who posted it.
It's kind of blurry, like vague pictures, and you just go, yeah.
It really feels like you're emulating this girl's life of just kind of mindlessly going through the day. She's hearting and liking stuff without even thinking about it, and like she's not enjoying her job, obviously.
Until one day where her phone dies.
Well, before that, you should say like it goes through the first day, and then it does the whole day again, but like really fast. Like it does it a couple times to just like kind of show that it's all a blur to her. And then, like you said, one morning she's like walking down the street with headphones in. I think the chapter is just called music.
Yeah,
or something
and
like
so
that.
you're hearing the music she's listening to. Also, play this game with headphones, guys.
Yes, I agree.
It says that at the beginning of the thing, and you probably just glance past and go, oh, whatever. No,
it's worth it.
It's worth it. Grab some headphones, put them in, and like have no distractions. Just have like a single sit down and play this full game through. It's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, her phone dies as you're looking through Instagram, and the music that she's listening to stops. And so she takes off her headphones, and she hears this sweet, sweet cello music.
Oh, it's such good music, too.
It's really, really good music. That's why you should wear headphones.
Yeah.
and she kind of gets drawn to it like a cartoon character gets drawn to a good smelling pie.
Yeah, like she takes her headphones out and she hears first one note at a time and it's like showing you these like the game's kind of like a basic color palette, like it's blue, white, and yellow.
Yeah.
And the yellow first comes in when you start to see the music notes
Yeah.
of this random cello player in the street. Like you'll just see a note pop up and then you tap on it, and like as you start tapping on more and more music notes, Florence lifts into the air and starts kind of being drawn, like you said, like a cartoon character to the music.
Yeah. And ends up meeting this guy and going on dates.
Well, she's not even there yet. It's a different day. Remember, she like just sees the music and like gets excited, like sees the first day is she hears the music, sees the performer, and then goes home, and you just see her with a heart over her head, like, she kind of likes this guy.
And then she gets hit by a car or something.
Not quite. So the next day, after she saw this street performer for the first time, she's riding her bike down the street, and then
did she get hit by a car, or did she crash into something? I can't remember.
No, what happens is she sees the street performer again, and like looks over to him. And then I think she just hits something and crashes and falls to the ground.
Yeah.
Like on her bike. And then the next part is you like kind of moving her vision around.
Yeah, refocusing because she just had a concussion.
You're kind of moving these dials around that like refocus what she's looking at, because she's obviously like fallen to the ground, is super dizzy and whatever.
Yeah, and then facing up.
Yeah, you get these like images of like a bike crash and then stuff all over the street.
Yeah, I think she went grocery shopping or something.
Yeah, she lost all their groceries on the ground. And then the last one you get is just a shot of the guy's face.
The cello player looking down.
Yeah, his name. I don't think you learned his name.
You never
yet.
learned his name.
You do learn his name. You do learn his name.
What?
I don't know why, but there's a reason you learned his name. His name's Krish.
It is Krish.
It's in the their dates, like their like little pictures. So we'll keep going then. The Krish helps Florence pick up all her groceries and things, and the next chapter is you and him going on dates and stuff.
Yeah, and
the first date is like one of the coolest parts of the game.
Speech bubbles.
Yeah. So you're kind of emulating what a first date is like.
Yeah.
Where you're trying to talk to each other. So you're playing as Florence, who's like wants to talk to this guy but is super nervous. So you are doing these little speech bubbles, which are like a very basic puzzle.
Yeah,
like it's
six-piece puzzles. And
you're making
puzzles.
a little jigsaw speech bubble and formulating it together and then placing it in the tile.
Yeah.
And then once you make that, Krish makes his response, which is also a little complicated. And then the next one, it removes a piece. It takes away, like it makes the puzzle a little easier for you. So after the first time you talk, the next time you talk, it's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And then Krish responds again, and then the next one it's even easier.
Yeah,
it goes to 3 or 4 pieces.
It becomes one piece, I think, and you're just putting it in the spot.
It takes a piece away until finally you're just dragging and dropping a speech bubble, a completed speech bubble, because now that you've actually started talking to this guy, it's super easy to it's emulating the idea that the more you're talking to this new person, it's quicker that they hit it off and they start to like talk to each other. And
are we just gonna go through this entire game?
I think so, dude.
Well, I mean, we could just
it like, I don't know, I'm really like, it's not that long and we're like halfway through basically.
Well, I mean, we can just go.
We can, I just want to get to
it, though.
Sure.
So after that, there's a couple more things. Like you have a fight, and fights work very similar to the talking to each other on a date, except that you're competing to get. Well, it starts off just the same as talking, but it goes the other way. So it's easy to talk, and then it becomes harder to talk, and then even harder, and then.
Like the pieces also look jagged, right?
Yeah.
Like instead of the normal jigsaw look, they kind of have this jagged edge look. Like they look angry.
They're
I don't
sharp
know.
words. They're sharp words.
They're sharp words, and so they have this kind of, and they're red instead of yellow.
Yeah, and after you
Blue.
get really into the fight, rather than you just taking turns saying things, you're both just going at the exact same time, building these arguments,
Yeah.
not even listening to what another person's saying, right? You're
Yeah.
just going, oh, I just need to get my words in because I'm
Yeah.
right.
I think the first fight is just building. Like, I don't think you're... Like,
I think you are. It's they're fighting in the grocery store as they're getting cereal, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think that happens.
Is it this one, or is it the later... Do they have two fights? I
Yeah,
feel like
they have
two fights.
They have two. One, but the first one, they
The second one is where it gets, like, even more interesting,
Yeah.
where you're, like, just dragging, dropping, right?
yeah. But the first one, the time, like, it just they get back together right again. It's
Yeah.
just their first.
They
fight.
have a bad fight. They're like, you're not really clued into what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, you're just
I
it's not
assume
important.
it's about the cereal. Because they're right in front. They're in the cereal aisle, and then he grabs one, and that's when the fight starts.
The thing is, though, is that's not really the point. Like, you're not. It doesn't matter what they were arguing
It might
about.
be a little bit of the point in that it's just a dumb fight.
It's a dumb fight.
That
I
one
think that's what you're supposed to get away from it.
Is that
they're
in the
talking
cereal
about.
aisle? He grabs a thing of cereal, and then they just have a fight, and you're like,
Right.
"Oh, this fight meant nothing."
Yeah.
They got back together.
They get, like, at the end of it, it ends up with you just kind of hugging each other and, like,
Yeah.
feeling like, okay, we're back together. That was a silly fight that we had, but we are going to make it through this.
You move in.
That's right. After they've gone out on some dates, like, they meet each
Or
other's.
he moves in.
He moves into her house. That's correct. But, like, it's after you go out on some dates and, like, you know, she meets his family and stuff. And it's just, you're gonna, like, you're seeing the blossom of a brand new
Yeah.
relationship. And then eventually, I think it's like 6 months or something, that he moves into her house.
He moves into her house, and this is an important part: is you putting his stuff in her house, you putting up his stuff on her shelves,
This is a cool, yeah.
and
this
you
is another
actually
really cool moment.
have to choose what to remove of hers
Yeah.
and put in storage,
Yeah.
and what to leave of his in storage.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, I think, is this, so are you controlling him or her? Because there's one point where you're actually controlling him a little bit because you're cleaning his room.
Oh yeah, I don't even.
It was a weird moment where you're not with Florence anymore. You're with the guy. You're with Krish.
Is it just because he needs to find that application for the music school?
No, wait. No, you're right. It is her that finds it because it's her that finds it and gives it to him.
I think he cleans it, but then because he knows she's coming over to see his room, and then when she comes into the room, she finds this music application and encourages him to apply.
She's
to this
encouraging him
music
to
school.
apply. Like, you know, yeah, we totally missed the, like, whole dream sequence where they're, like, thinking about what they want to be when they're, like, what they want to do with their careers and stuff.
Oh yeah, and and we missed
the childhood.
the childhood memories. Anyway, she as a little kid loved to paint, loved to do art, and it even
Yeah.
gets you to do this
It gets you to make
painting
this...
of a sailboat and then a butterfly, which is, I'm really proud of the butterfly I made. I like it.
I spent a
lot.
long time on the butterfly. You get to paint these little pictures, and it keeps your picture in the story. Like,
Yeah.
she finds it as an adult, and so you kind of have this cool thing where you drew this picture as her as a child, and now she's an adult
Yeah.
finding her painting again.
And it kind of shows how she like, oh, I always wanted to be an artist.
Yeah, and
but
she-
not anymore. And she puts the painting back in the box. And
But
back
you
into
see that she
storage.
still, like, has talent. Like, you
Yeah.
see her, like, draw pictures. Like, she draws...
she draws Krish.
she draws Krish, but, like, as a cool, like well-renowned...
pencil sketch.
She does the pencil sketch, and she also does, like, the full body cello playing one, I think. Or is that
That's
the
just a
dream?
dream.
That might
That's
be
it.
the dream. The other part is you have two sets of dreams. You have Krish's dream of being a famous musician and her dream of being a painter, which she kind of only discovers after talking to Krish and, like,
Yeah.
hearing about his dream. Like, he's kind of helped her to, like,
Yeah.
see that she has
After encouraging him to go into art school,
to music school.
to music school, he buys her just like a $2 art set.
A really cheap, like, those
Art-
standard like grade school painter
yeah,
sets.
where you like add water. You have to add
Yeah.
water to the hard paint.
It's a watercolor paint
Yeah.
set, but it's it's an encouraging thing.
Yeah,
Like it's
it's
a
just-
it's a cute moment where he's like, you know what? I thank you for encouraging me. I'm gonna encourage you in your dream of being
Yeah.
a painter. And it's like, oh, this is really sweet. They're both like encouraging each other to, follow their dreams and like be there for each other to help them get there.
And then it all goes
Oh
awry.
man, it's so sad. But yeah, like so after they move in together, we were talking about
the first few days you go through life, it goes through the same life you had, going to brushing your teeth, going to account,
and
but everything's easier.
Right. We kind of brushed over it, but
Yeah.
the whole putting stuff into their storage and stuff.
Yeah.
You have to make the decision of whose stuff stays out, and like, it's going through the stages of moving in together.
Yeah,
and once they're super lovey-dovey, like you said, like
the first day, like you brush your teeth together, then you eat breakfast together. You go to your job and it does it for you because it's just so mindless.
Yeah,
it's
all
so
the stuff,
easy.
all the stuff you did at the beginning of the game, where you're going through your mediocre day, it goes by super quick. Because they're super in love, they enjoy everything way more because they're in this relationship, and they are super about each other and love everything they're doing.
And then the next one is them not.
So after they've had their first fight at the grocery store, it goes by quite a while, and the two of
Before that, they just there's another day that I'm pretty sure is just nothing, right? Like, it's almost as if they forgot how much they love each other.
It's after the grocery store, I think.
That's after the fight?
It like skips a bit in time, and now they're in this like routine of like kind of forgetting about each other.
Yeah.
Like kind of
they're sleeping on, like, at first they were like right next to each other in the bed, and then they became like not like far away, staying away from each other, but just
they're not like, they don't seem to be like in love, honestly. Like they don't, like, they kind of like,
they're just staying on either side of the bed. They brush their teeth. Everything's just so like they don't even look at each other.
Yeah, it's kind of like, stagnant. Like everything's just kind of as it was before they met,
And then
even though they're with each other.
And then you see him playing his music.
Yeah.
Krish playing his music, and rather than these beautiful yellow notes,
All the this like the whole game, it's like about this like yellow color. Like all the like dream sequences are in this bright yellow color, and like his music always is yellow, and her painting is always yellow, and
it's not always yellow.
You're like,
no, it's not.
Her dream of painting is yellow.
Okay.
Yeah. All the like, the positive stuff
positive
is yellow.
And then all these notes become way more complicated. Like, you can see that what was just like a single note is now a whatever.
Very complicated, but very
like a
like
triple
black,
note with,
basic note.
Yeah. All these different like complicated notes, but they're all black.
Like,
and
his
just, like,
music,
joyless.
His music was like kind of basic, but still beautiful and yellow. But now it's like very complicated, very like like a much more stressful looking.
Because he's trying to be a success now, rather than just I love music. I love playing music.
And he's been in school for a while now.
Yeah, and then they start talking about it. Well, you don't know if it's about it, but to me, that's what it seemed like. Is they start talking and getting in another fight, and they start getting in another fight, and it gets out of control again. You're both just competing at each other, but this time you don't make up at the end. You both go to sleep at opposite ends of the bed.
Yeah. Is this the big fight, or is there
That was the big fight.
That was a big fight. Yeah. So like this big fight, it like before, when you were having the fight at the grocery store, it was like super complicated. Like you're like making these sentences, and like it plays with how complicated things are. But for this one, it quickly escalates to you're just dropping things in to say. Like you just kind of drag, like how it was when you first started dating, and eventually it got easier to talk to. talk to Krish. Now it's like super easy to just talk to him because you're just saying whatever comes to your mind about being angry and stuff. Like you can see Florence is like just saying whatever comes to her mind right away, and they're both talking over each other, not thinking about what they're saying at all.
And then they go to bed at completely opposite ends of the bed, like trying to be away from each other at that point.
Yeah, this is another one of my favorite parts of the game.
And she has a dream, same dream basically, of him yellow playing the violin, and then you paint over it with your finger, and it just replaces all the yellow with black,
these black ugly,
and him no longer
notes.
Happy playing, all distraught.
He just looks stressed and like overworked.
He's wearing like a tux, but it's all like kind of mangled because he
stressed. Looks like a 4th-year music college student. That's what he looks like, because that's what he stressed. Is.
And I think at this point, right after,
I think we're kind of mixing stuff up, but another point that happens around here is they're in bed and you're building this puzzle of them
drifting apart.
No, before that, just the puzzle of them in bed together. That might have been at the grocery store.
Oh, yeah, the in bed together one. You're
making a puzzle, so it gives you all these puzzle pieces of like each of them laying in bed. They're not facing each other, but you're like, okay, well, I'm still gonna build this puzzle.
And then you find out that
you can build each side of this puzzle. You can build Florence's side where she's lying in bed. You can build Krish's side where he's lying in bed. But then once you finish those two sides and you try to connect the pieces, they don't match because they're clearly it's to say these two like can't finish the puzzle. They can't overcome this argument, at least not at the moment.
Yeah.
So they go to bed like without their puzzle completed in this, grandiose metaphorical way.
And then there's a chapter called Drifting Away, where you're trying to. It looks like a page that's just ripped into like a bunch of squares, and you're trying to put this picture of them hugging together.
Yeah,
but it just constantly drifts away from you.
Yeah.
And I actually got legitimately annoyed at that point.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Why isn't it going?
Yeah.
Like, it's not fitting back together.
You totally get this thing of
and
like,
it's starting to drift away.
Why, I hate this. Why can't I put this puzzle back together? Like, it doesn't even look that complicated. And like, you get all the pieces kind of in the right place.
Yeah, and then one will drift away and you're like, okay, get back.
And then like, you kind of reach a point where you're like, oh man,
and
I get it.
It still continues to drift apart, but then it says like next.
Yeah,
and you're like, but it's still drifting apart, and it's like next. Oh,
go to the
next thing.
Go to the next part of the story, and you're like, oh, I guess that you can't complete this puzzle.
I think this is
the letting go,
the moving out part.
Oh yes, moving out. So earlier we talked about the part where you have to put all of Krish's stuff into her home.
This is one of what I think is the coolest part.
Sure.
Because it actually showed me something, because I've never been in a relationship like this.
Uh-huh.
It showed me something that I can't really comprehend.
No, totally. Both of us are. So I'm in a relationship. You're not. But like.
Well, thanks.
But like neither of us have been through a big breakup.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. And so it was really interesting to go through this and be like, wow, like it's totally showing me what this would be like.
So basically it's in big vibrant colors when you're moving in. You're moving all these things together.
Yeah, they're super excited to like you're putting stuff in storage so you can make room for his.
You have all these pairs of shoes that you're putting on the shelves, and none of them are the same shoe, but they're kind of similar looking, but they're very different colors.
Yeah, you can see that like his stuff has a different style than Florence's stuff. Like they each have their own way of living, and so their shoes look different. Their
when you
style
move
is
in,
different.
There's a toaster. She has a silver toaster, and you have a gold toaster.
Yeah, he has a gold toaster,
and so you move that in. But when you move out, it's all black and white.
Yeah,
and this is what I thought was so cool, because
you still have to find his stuff.
I totally could have remembered what shoes were his and what shoes were hers. But they made it black and white, and just by shape alone, I had no idea.
Yeah, it was you're having to like get Krish's stuff so he can move out. But you were like, you have this hard time of like picking the right things
Yeah,
because you don't know what's
'cause
his.
supposedly they'd been living together for a while now,
Yeah.
and so you don't know what is yours and what's
Yeah.
hers.
And like, I'm sure I left stuff behind. Like, I'm sure
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't get everything because it doesn't like make you find everything before you keep going.
yeah,
It like
it's like, okay,
it
take
lets you.
take a
It
few things and then hit next when you're done.
it
And
goes
it's like,
to
oh,
each part
don't
of her
know.
house. Like first their shoes, then their drawers and
Yeah.
stuff, and then their kitchen, and then the bathroom. But it does.
And there's new stuff there too.
Yeah, there's stuff that they now have together that you can like
Yeah,
get
it's
and like
I don't know.
you
where
don't
that
know
came
what to
from,
grab.
so-
You don't know what to grab because you don't know what's his and what's not.
Yeah, I thought that was super interesting.
It's very cool. Like it emulates what that would be like moving out from someone you've spent so long together. Like
Yeah.
stuff that you've accumulated is now just kind of been ours instead of one
Yeah.
of them. Like it's really
it's really cool.
cool how it works. And like, yeah, you get through this and then you just kind of I was kind of like, okay, well, I'll just grab and go. Like I don't want
Yeah.
to stay here too long. Like you grab whatever you can and then you leave and then that's it. And then I think it's the next chapter that's called Letting Go, I think.
And I think you're going through work and your day again, and it's
hard, right?
It's a drag. Yeah,
It's hard. It's been like I feel like the numbers were a little more complicated. Like maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe I can't
It
really remember.
felt more difficult
Yeah.
to get through your next day of life when it's not they're neither in a place where life is boring. Like she's not in a place where everything is mediocre anymore. She's in a place where it's difficult because she just went
Yeah.
through a major breakup. And
then
like
rather than your mom calling you and you just hanging up or giving her whatever answers,
yeah, that's right.
you call her.
It gives you it puts Florence's phone in front of you and you have to hit the call button to your mom.
Yeah.
And it's like it's really cool because it happened multiple times in the game where your mom called you and you could choose to say yes or no, but
Yeah.
the whole time she's like, oh, I don't want to talk to my mom. But then the last time your mom it's your choice to call mom because like, hey, if I go through a major breakup, I'm calling my mom too. Like it totally made sense and felt real and like yeah. And then I don't know if it's this one or the next chapter, but there's a chapter called Letting Go where it's this image of Florence and Krish walking along beside each other.
Oh, and
And-
you're trying to keep up with him.
Yeah, it's you.
You're like walking across a beach or
Well,
something.
you're walking, I think it's just down a street, and Krish is right there beside you, and you can keep tapping to stay with Krish. But the
And
only
nothing
way
will happen.
nothing will happen. You want to keep staying by Krish, whatever, because you don't want to let go of this. But the chapter's called Letting Go. So eventually you have to stop tapping. You have to just not
And
tap
you just-
anymore.
I think you just see him walk away in front of you.
Yeah, you just see them slowly distance apart, and then once Krish is out of sight, it says, move to the next part.
Yeah. And then what is it? Is she start to clean up everything?
I think so.
Like cleans up the kind of like photos of them and stuff. And then she finds this paint set that he bought her
Uh-huh.
and starts to fiddle around with it.
Uh-huh.
And then on the side,
That's right. Yeah,
while
yeah.
she's working,
She finds the paint
she
set.
decides to try selling them online or something.
That's right. Yeah.
Selling them online and actually get some buyers.
Yeah.
And they start to buy her stuff, and she's like, "Oh wow,
So yeah, she's kind of reignites her own passion because she's like,
yeah,
she's obviously like feels like she's missing something, so she's trying to. We're reading into this
Yeah.
based on what we think
well,
the character
they
is
keep
thinking.
it vague, so you have to read into it."
Yeah, but it feels like, hey, I just went through a really hard time. I'm gonna find something to occupy my time,
Yeah.
so I don't keep dwelling over it.
But it is like her passion, though, not just like a
Yeah.
distraction.
She starts like making these paintings and selling them online, and eventually you reach a point where you're packing up your stuff from work
Yeah.
to quit.
Pack stuff up from work, where you also find a picture of Krish.
I thought this was awesome as well.
And and you can choose whether to throw it out.
Do you?
Yeah.
I didn't throw it out. Did you?
No, I didn't do it.
I didn't know you could throw it
I'm
out.
pretty sure you can throw it out.
I thought the only choice was to put it in the
Maybe.
box.
But the point is that she keeps it,
the-
and I'm pretty sure she like grabs it and smiles at it, which I think that's really cool because there's so many like breakup movies and stuff where the breakup is like, screw this guy, so glad he's
tear
out
the picture
of
in
my
half,
life.
cut out any pictures with
All
me
those
and
good
him.
times we had were lies.
Yeah.
Like
It's this cool
no.
moment of, hey, I'm going to keep this picture to remember this relationship, not pretend that it was never good.
Yeah, it was an important part of my life. It actually it was one of the reasons, if this relationship didn't happen, probably wouldn't be painting.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't have made a business painting. Also, another thing that I like barely noticed. So when you're doing work at the accounting office or whatever it is, and you're matching up all these numbers, there's one number left over.
Yes.
And it's like $4.
Yeah.
And
it varies. It's a random number every time.
No.
I know that I had some that were like 60 though.
Maybe. But anyway, what I noticed was it was more money at the accountant because you do the same matching number game when you're doing your own finances with your paint.
Okay.
So after you sell a few
that's
paints
right.
online,
I remember.
You're typing in your own profits into your own personal laptop.
Yeah.
And it's less money.
Right.
But she's happier.
Okay, yeah. I think that's true.
But she's happier. And I thought it was really cool
Yeah.
is that she's smiling doing this work when she's only getting $3.
Yeah.
And like she's still getting money. She's making profit, but it's clearly less than what she was making. But she's happy. I thought
Totally.
that was cool. And
I love that the game doesn't like bring Krish back in any way.
it doesn't bring Krish back, and it also doesn't bring another guy in.
Yeah, there's no ounce of like, hey, maybe we can still find love with Krish or somebody else. It's not about that at the end. Like,
Yeah.
it's not about, well, love still exists and we can still love each other. It's she loved someone and he's gone now, and so she's gonna move on with her life.
Yeah, and I think that's the best part about liking the photo, though, was that it also doesn't show like, oh, well, I'm done with these guys. She's like, "No, that was great."
She keeps like she takes a picture home because she doesn't want to just forget about it. She
Yeah.
wants to keep all
also
that in mind.
her mom is more present in all of this future stuff with
Totally,
her art.
yeah.
Like she does an art gallery.
She
and
goes
her
to the
mom
art
is
gallery and
there,
her mom shows up.
and you go and talk to all these people at the
Yeah,
art gallery.
that's
and
another
make
part of it.
connections.
That's another part of it that I kind of forget is like she kind of repaired this
Yeah.
relationship with her mom that she kind of was, like it seems like she had some issues with her mom in the early parts, and like clearly it seemed like they were somewhat warranted. Like her mom was too nosy and stuff, but she kind of repaired that relationship. And it's a very cool thing that this relationship happened, and she doesn't ignore it, but she moves on and finds better things with her life from it.
Yeah, it was a really cool game. I highly recommend doing it while you're doing something else. So what
do you mean by that?
So this is what I did. I put on headphones. I had this and just kind of doing it on the side, not like taking away attention from it, but I would do that and I would cook myself some food, and I cooked myself a hot chocolate.
Okay.
And I just was doing that while like fully immersed in the story, and then mixing up some milk on a pot, and just it was a great experience.
Yeah.
Because it was like me living my life while living hers, rather than just like watching it as a story.
Yeah.
I think there would have been some disconnect almost. Because it's just like, this clearly isn't mine. But while it kind of felt weird, it felt like because I was doing this other stuff, I was more invested because I was just doing stuff on the side. Oh, I'm making food while she's stirring up this food that Krish is teaching her how to make.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple little things that we missed, but go play the game.
Play the game. It's awesome.
If you haven't played the game, you should have. We told you to.
Yeah, we spoiled it, so it's still, honestly, if you listen to this without playing it, you should still play it. It means more when you actually go through it.
It's also one of the only, like, this one, yeah, It's the only game where I can say there's probably no alternative of like thing to play it on. Like Donut County could have been played on Switch.
Totally.
This game
is made. Yeah, that's another good point. This game was
be played
made
on
for mobile.
Switch because Switch is touchscreen, but
It's possible, but
it's
the
made
point
for
is,
mobile.
it's such a like personal experience, and like it's emulating stuff that is mostly done with phones, like the conversation stuff,
Yeah.
and like liking and favoriting stuff,
it's
and
a
like
mobile game.
it feels like a mobile game, and it's like a good mobile game.
Yeah,
This is the one thing I wanted to like make of this episode is that there are some good mobile games.
Here's the thing. Here's how to not make a mobile game. Make controls that are fake buttons on the screen.
Yeah.
Okay? If you are making like a A, B, X, Y button in the corner of the screen and a fake analog stick on the left,
Yeah.
it's bad controls.
Yeah.
It will never be as good as an actual controller.
Totally.
So refigure it. Do some Infinity Blade stuff.
Yeah.
Where you have to swipe on it and like
Yeah,
dodge.
the best mobile games are ones that use like the phone as the controller.
Swipes and taps and like
My favorite mobile games are the ones you can play with one hand.
like
Like,
wouldn't
two of these are ones that you could play with one hand.
I haven't played it, but what is it? Okami? Is that the dog game?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that game has a lot to do with doing brush strokes and stuff,
Yep,
right?
Yep.
See, like if you do stuff like that on a mobile game,
Yeah.
to me that's like the way
Makes
you
sense.
should do it.
Yeah. Totally. Okay, we need to give this game a soup. I have a nomination. I don't know if you have a better one. Chicken noodle.
That's really good, actually.
Yeah.
It's comforting.
It's yellow.
It's good for your soul.
Yeah.
It's yellow. Gross.
It's yellow. And like it's there to like I don't know. It's a soup.
Can't say the color. We can't be like, what the Mario game?
Just because the
Tomato soup.
no. I just mean because the game is built around yellow. That's all. But more, it's the fact that soup like this.
Yeah, chicken
It's a-
soup for the soul.
Yeah.
There's a book series.
Yeah.
This is chicken soup for the
It's a soup that you have when you're feeling down.
For the
And this game goes
Asian-
through
Asian art student soul. Chicken soup for the Asian art student soul.
other additional option was ramen.
Ramen. That's racist, Tyron.
Anyways, let's go with chicken noodles. So we're gonna give this game a chicken noodle soup rating.
Yeah, with good hearty carrots. Okay, favorite game on the list, though. I know we talked about this one game for 40 minutes, and this game probably don't have that much to talk about. It's still my favorite one. It's
Yeah.
still the one I poured way more hours into.
Yeah, this one is Part-time UFO. You may have heard it earlier.
UFO. It's so good.
Part-time UFO is a game where you control a UFO that has come down to Earth. Why
Yeah.
did he crash on Earth again?
Um,
There's a little bit of a story in
Yeah.
there, right?
the aliens wanted like an exploration / excavation of Earth,
yeah.
and what Earth is like.
Yeah.
And so basically, part-time UFO, what the name is you're doing a bunch of jobs for people. The first one is loading oranges and boxes of oranges onto this guy's car
Yeah.
or the back of his pickup truck, and you just have a little like crane game claw
Uh-huh.
that comes from the bottom of your UFO where you just grab something and put it in.
Yeah.
And it's simple and
It's like a crane. It's like your,
Yeah.
stuffed animal crane game thing,
Yeah.
but you're controlling where the UFO goes, and you're, throwing this big claw out, and you have to your controls are just
Yeah, okay, here's one. It's bad controls, okay? It has a joystick on the left and a button on the right.
like a digital they made a joystick for the screen
Yeah.
and a button.
But
Don't play it like that.
don't play it like that. After the first level, you can choose to play it in one-hand mode,
Which is awesome.
which really works really well, where you just basically
You just use your thumb to move him around, and
swipe to the left on
Yeah.
anywhere on the screen,
then
and then
once you
want
want
to the left.
once you want to grab something, you just
You just
single tap the screen, and it'll drop a crane.
It works really, really well. I
Yeah.
don't know why they even bothered with the two-hand control thing.
There's probably a little bit of nuance to it, like you can move while grabbing or whatever. But you don't need it. It works.
I played everything that game has to offer.
Trice 100%ed this
I
game.
100%ed this game, and it's like it's a million times better with the single hand controls.
So we should mention this game's actually made by HAL Laboratory.
HAL Laboratory.
Or it might be like a subdivision.
It's called HAL Ag.
Yeah.
But
I think
it's HAL Laboratories.
I think I don't know if I'm assuming this is HAL's like first time making a game for mobile. I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it is.
The logo is just a single egg with a sprout out of it rather than a dog cuddling 3 eggs.
Yeah. So HAL Egg is okay. So HAL Egg is just the mobile division of HAL.
And
that's what it is.
They've only made one game so far, though, right?
It seems like it. Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm leaving this right now and going playing it.
Yeah. So HAL Laboratory, you might know or may not know, is the creators of Kirby.
Smash Bros.
Smash Bros. They made the first couple Smash Bros. Games.
They're still a part.
They're involved in it, but they didn't like develop it. But like, it's from the people who made Kirby, so it's pretty. It kind of has this style to it.
And if you're one of those people that dogs on Kirby for being too easy, this game's not that easy.
If you want to just get through it, it's pretty easy.
No, but it has
if you want to get all the challenges, it's very difficult. But that's like Kirby too to me. Like Kirby is a game that you can get through pretty easy, but then once you want to like really complete Kirby, it's difficult.
But here's the thing with these games. So if you do the bare minimum on all these levels, he's right. It's very, very, very easy.
Yeah.
So like,
we should explain what the main objective of the game is.
Yeah, so you're grabbing a claw thing and moving objects or stacking objects from one place to another.
So, like, for example, the first level is...
Yeah, we said oranges in a pickup truck.
Right.
He drops all the oranges on the ground, picks them up, put it on a pickup truck.
Yeah.
But then there's other ones where it's more like stacking.
Yeah. Like there's one where you're at an art museum and someone knocked over the art sculpture.
Pole. Someone knocked over a totem pole, so you have to stack it back up. But the secret objectives are to do it in the right order.
Right. So if you just wanted to get through it, you could put each part of the totem pole just on top of each other.
You don't even need to put them one by one on top of each other. If you put just a pile on the platform, it passes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how easy it is, but obviously the other objectives make it more fun and challenging.
And they can be something as simple of completing it in time. Like that's usually an objective for the levels, is just doing it within their timer.
Completing it on time, doing it in the right order. There's the funny objectives where there's like, oh, there's a secret guy in the background. Yeah. And you have to grab that guy in the background and pull him on and put him somewhere on your stack.
Uh-huh.
And so there's stuff like that. You get money for every job you do, which can be used to purchase little costumes for your UFO.
Yeah.
Including
the costumes are great.
Including a box boy costume.
Right. So another game that HAL made for just the 3DS, like 3DS eShop, so you can download this game on your 3DS. It's called Box Boy. Have you played it?
I've never. I think I might have played a demo. Okay. It looked cool. It was like a puzzle platformer.
It's like a little puzzle game where you make a box in front of you.
You make like a row. Well,
I think it's just one for the first game. It's just one,
and then you can make like a row of boxes. It's a puzzle platforming game.
It looks cool. I actually think I want to try it.
Yeah. Make an HD collection on Switch.
Yes, I would definitely get it if it came to Switch for like Box Boy, and Box Boy is the sequel.
Box Boy?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Because the first game is you can make one box, and the second game is you make two boxes.
That's so good.
So there's a little Easter egg of Box Boy. I think he shows up in a couple levels as well.
Does he?
I remember seeing him in the farm level at the beginning, or maybe
wow. I didn't notice.
He's just like in the background, like you wouldn't really notice him if you weren't paying attention.
He's just in the front main menu, and if you tap on him, you get the costume.
You get a UFO that is in the shape of a box, and the costumes are great. Like, and all of them have different powers.
Yeah, some are just visual, but a lot of them. Oh, there's a ninja costume. You move way faster. There's
What's the one that makes you slower? The sleepy one?
Oh, there's a I don't know.
I think the sleepy one also does it. Pajamas.
There's one where you have a scarf that makes you move slower.
Yeah, there's different ones that like help you manage your movement. And
Yeah.
is there anything other than speed that it does?
There's quicker claw controls, so your claw, because sometimes you have moving targets.
Mhm.
For example, one of them you're fishing,
Yeah.
and so you have to grab the fish fast. So there are some that will make your claw come out and close faster. There's
Yeah.
one specifically for fishing.
Right.
It's got a little.
Oh,
it's-
yes,
it's like
yes.
a samurai.
I did see it. I didn't try it.
flag, a sashimoto, and you put it.
Cool.
Yeah, I know that word. I'm pulling out that sashimoto word. And it's just a flag on your back that's got a koi fish on it, and it makes the claw drops normal speed, but the claw grabs crazy fast.
Right.
So it drops on this fish, and then it will just grab it quick and tight.
Right.
And I've used it a couple times, and it works pretty good. But best part of the game, the music.
The music's great. It's
mu-
always the same theme,
It's
right?
the same theme, but depending on what level, it's in different styles.
Yeah, different styles.
tempos,
So like you'll be in the farm level, it's kind of got this banjo-y feel. like-
banjo-y and like fiddle, like.
And it's the same thing, so we could- it's like-
Yeah,
it's just that lick over and over.
and then it's got vocals which go ba da 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 na na na.
The music is really good.
It's really good and cute and fun. That's pretty much the only thing you need to know about this entire game is it can be really good, cute, and fun.
Uh-huh.
That's the entire game. And
Yeah.
it is. It's got a final boss, which I think is everything a final boss should be.
Totally.
Where it uses
Yeah.
the mechanics you were using, but
In a
with
unique
twist,
way.
and then flips it on you.
And it's not stupid where some final bosses will like introduce something completely different from what you were doing.
Yeah, and that's
Some of those can be cool.
That's what Kirby does. And honestly, Kirby's last bosses have been known to be the coolest, but it uses its same mechanics very creatively. These enemies that you have to pick up, and then rather than just dropping them, it allows you to shoot them out.
Yeah, as soon as
So-
you let go of an enemy, instead of just dropping, it'll shoot out from whatever angle you drop them.
And then you have to attack the other enemies with that and get combos by shooting one at you'll shoot one at another and you'll get a 2 combo, but you can get up to 5 in a time.
And then like I don't remember what it's called, the like mecha
There's
giant thing.
There's a giant mech that starts fighting you, and he's got these giant so you shoot first the same enemies that you were fighting,
these like little purple star things.
little purple starfish, and you shoot them at his glass dome head.
Yeah.
Once you shatter that, he puts on this metal shutter door.
Yeah, a
over
metal
it,
shutter comes over the head,
which
so
the
you can't hit
starfish
him.
can't attack. But his own giant mace arms.
He has these 2 arms that are just giant electric maces.
Yeah, morning stars, whatever you would call them. And then
they'll hit
after he hits them,
hit the
gets him
ground.
stuck on the ground, you grab him and pull him off of his arms.
Yeah.
And shoot him at his head.
Yeah.
To break through that.
Yeah.
After that, once his head is exposed, because his head is very angular, it's
Totally.
very easy to grab and pull him out of the mech.
Yeah. And
then the very final stage is you building a giant. So he's got his escape pod ready to escape and get away from you once and for all, but his escape pod has a flat top on the top of the ship, and you've got a bunch of broken robot pieces,
and you just have to stack them all on
and you have
top
to
of him,
stack a giant totem pole on top of his
so he can't escape.
spaceship, so it's too heavy for him to escape. I really think that they use the mechanics like
They kind of do
in
every
every way you could.
every part of the game that you did earlier. You're using in the final stage.
Sometimes the stacking literally in all the levels. Sometimes the stacking is, ooh, how can I stack this so I can fit them all on the platform?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the stacking is, how can I actually make it this tall without it falling over? Sometimes it's, how do I stack it in that order without it falling over? Would
Yeah,
it be
yeah, yeah.
easier to do it this way?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just, I need to grab things fast. Sometimes it's, I can't drop anything ever.
Yeah.
I only need to move these things from one place to another, but if I drop them in the middle, I immediately lose.
Yeah.
And I really do think that it took its mechanics to every single possibility it could, and it does it very well.
And it tells us, like, I don't know, kind of cute little story about a UFO that, like,
Saves the world.
saves the world, and is like, it just kind of has this fun arc where it's called Part-time UFO. He's taking little part-time jobs to help people, and like the first one, like we said, is putting oranges in this farmer's truck, and then like it continues to like helping the circus, like stack all the animals on top of each other.
There is a level where you have to make a stack of people 3 meters high.
Oh, right, the cheerleaders.
No, even harder. You didn't play this level.
I didn't.
You stack people 3 meters high, but they're all synchronized swimmers, and you're doing it in water. So the thing you're stacking on is floating.
Oh no!
It's one of the hardest levels I've ever played.
Yeah, I think some of the harder ones are the ones where it's like different shaped like people. Like the ones where it doesn't just give you these boxes, it gives you like, oh, you have to stack like humans in different poses on top of each other so they reach high enough.
There's really creative like bonus objectives too, where so one of them is you're stacking all these sumo wrestlers, and you've got this little baby sumo wrestler, and he's just smiling, and he's got little snot coming out of his nose.
Yeah.
And you see this old man with a sumo wrestler's wig and sumo wrestler like traditional makeup on, and like he's just in the background. And what you're supposed to do for the secret objective is you pull off his hair and put it on the baby, and then the baby becomes super serious and ready to fight.
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite secret objectives in the whole game. Oh man, I cannot tell you how much I love this game enough. It's so good.
What is it? So do you have any other favorite levels that we haven't mentioned? One of mine is the ninja star. The first time you do the ninja star stuff.
So you have ninjas attacking you. So you're trying to build
It took me a bit to actually figure out what I was supposed to do there.
Yeah, me too.
Because like there's like this building that you have to, like, you've done this before. You're like, there's these pieces of a building that you have to put on top of each other so it looks like a house. But then this one,
they're harder to grab too.
You can't grab these ones really. Like they're like these big round pieces without any part for your claw to grab onto.
Yeah.
So then you realize that there's these ninjas attacking you, and you're like, well, how am I supposed to do this with people attacking me, and also I can't grab any of these pieces? And then finally one just like by accident landed on the piece below me, and then I grabbed it, and I was like, oh, this is actually interesting.
So the ninja star sticks into one of the pieces, and then you grab the ninja star.
Yeah, which is
the ninja star is really angular and easy to grab.
And so you can use that to finally pick up these giant building pieces so you can stack your building.
And that one's a super creative and cool one.
Yeah.
Later, I don't know if you played this one, the ninjas start throwing bombs at you. Bombs.
Yes, I did.
And so you use those bombs to etch out. So there's just a giant boulder in the way of where you're supposed to build this building. So you use the bombs to destroy the boulder. Yeah. And then you can build the building there.
Yeah. And I love the like all the hidden, like we mentioned hidden objectives, but there's ones that are like actually hidden, like hidden in the background. Like there'll be stuff that's hidden behind, like so all your objectives, you don't have a description for what you're supposed to do. You just have a little icon that kind of explains what you're supposed to do.
And they're pretty good.
They're pretty good explanations.
Yeah, they're not super obvious, so you're like, oh, that's easy.
Like the timer one is always obvious. It's this big clock that you just have to do it in the time. But then there's like, it'll give you the pattern for the thing you're stacking, so you know which order you got to stack it in to get the hidden objective. Or there's one that just says wanted, and it gives a little face of a robber, and you're like, what does that mean? And then you notice in the level there's, a cow that looks like it's all stitched up like a costume, and then you grab the cow, which is in the background of the stage.
Yeah.
and then you pull it up and you realize, oh, there's a robber hidden inside this cow.
Yeah, and really progressive of how to use a female robber.
I actually thought, not a joke. I was like, oh, it's a girl. That's interesting. Fun. It was still like, whatever.
Right.
It was just funny. It was like they made the evil person in the stage a woman. It was whatever. Funny. Women can be robbers
Women
too.
can be robbers too. Okay. Here at Soupbox. Yeah, I really, really like this game a lot.
Yeah, I know.
I think it does everything it wants to do very well.
Yeah, and it's
really in the 16-bit art style. I don't know if we said.
essentially, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like
It's I think it's more than 16-bit because it's definitely not all pixely. Like I don't think it's all pixely. Like maybe the main character is, but there's definitely stuff that's not.
Okay, the best way is just think of what Kirby looks like on the DS.
Sure, a little, yeah, maybe a little more, but yeah.
It's what that's the picture you'll get though.
Yeah, and it probably like it's like a 16-bit art style that kind of has a more sculpted look.
Yeah,
I would say
it looks real prime though.
Yeah, it's
so
definitely
good.
a made for your phone screen game as well.
Yeah.
I love that the whole game is vertical. I don't know if we said, but the whole game is just you can hold with one hand and play through with just your thumb, and like the whole game is like you're just scrolling through from across the level, going along, and like your mechanic is dropping, right? So it makes sense to have this vertical
and
style level.
There could be a sequel, guys.
I would love a sequel.
At the end of the whole
Full-time
thing,
UFO.
that's probably what it'd be. Unless it's Part-time UFO 2, it's probably Full-time UFO.
I would love
or
that.
Box UFO.
Oh, that'd be good.
But yeah, at the end of the thing, there's a little to be continued.
Yeah, they did a little to be continued,
But
which was interesting.
the reason that I actually think there might be a sequel is because of what it showed when it said to be continued. If it was just the end of the credits and it said on a black screen to be continued, I would have been like, oh, okay, they're just doing that for whatever. But it showed a very specific character and a very like never before seen cave right next to her. And it just said to be continued.
Yeah, that's not a never before seen character. That's the shopkeeper.
I know, never before seen cave.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
A specific character, which is the shopkeeper, where you buy all your costumes, and and a cave that
kind of looks like the Aladdin
and
giant lion cave.
which makes sense because the shopkeeper's wearing a turban. And
Yeah,
looks
it looks like Shantae from
Shantae, but with a turban.
Yeah.
Anyway, looks like there could be a sequel. Also, just every part of this game is polished. You try on your costumes. When you're trying on your costumes, there's you do it on a runway, and all these little pixelated characters are like, if you have no costume on, they're all kind of disinterested. And the moment you put on a costume, they're all like, yeah! And
I don't think I even noticed this.
It's the best.
I love that, though.
There's just polish in this game.
Yeah.
It's just so good. I have nothing but good words to say about this game.
Me too. All right, Trace. I think it's time to give this game a soup rating.
Oh, easy. French onion soup.
Ooh, I love it.
I love French
Why,
onion
though?
soup. I love French onion soup. And so it's like a good French onion soup, though.
Okay.
Because you can get like a cheap French onion soup, which is just like the basic broth with like croutons in it. This one is like French onion soup with really good bread, really good onions, and like really good crisped or not burnt, but broiled Swiss cheese on the top.
Okay.
Like it's the best French onion soup.
So would you say like
class?
like a French onion soup, like you kind of don't know what you can get. Like it's always not that expensive or whatever. Like it's like something that can very
It's
much
something
vary. Like you'll get French onion soup and you're gonna like it,
Yeah.
But sometimes you'll love it.
It's something very simple, but when it's done very right and it does everything you can do to it, like everything you can do to French onion soup, you can do Swiss cheese, the meat, and the thing. Like, it does everything it does well.
Yes, I agree.
If you don't like French onion soup, you don't like this game. That's what I gotta say.
Yeah. Please do play it if you don't like French onion soup, though.
Why? They're not paying us.
Because I want people to play it.
It's true. It's a great game.
Yeah. So we got some great games here, Trace. I don't know if you want to do this, but we could like rank the 3.
No.
Okay, we won't do that.
I don't want to do it. Well, we kind of did.
Sure.
I don't know.
You can tell from what we said.
Yeah.
Actually, no, yeah, you can tell.
I pretty much said Part-time UFO is my favorite.
I might have a slightly different, I'm guessing you could tell where I would swap.
But you'd put Florence at the top?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's fine.
I did want to say, I don't know if I should get into this, but Florence, I was a little surprised that there was it was that there was nothing left, but I was also like, oh, it's I feel like there could have been something to fix that relationship, but it also didn't care. I don't know.
That wasn't the point.
It wasn't the point. I was happy with what happened.
Well, the thing is, that's why they kept it vague. I think I talked to you about this before, but they kept it vague enough so that if they had made a very specific fight or a very specific choice of words that each of them said during the fight, you could be like, what? And they broke up because of that? That's dumb.
Yeah.
But they kept it so vague that anybody would be like, oh, whatever you would break someone up for, that's what they said.
Right.
Because the point was they said something bad enough, or their relationship was falling apart because of these reasons that you don't see, but that are there.
Totally. Okay. So I think we can send these games off to the soup kitchen, and I don't know. I'm just making this up.
Is this how you're working?
I don't know. I'm still figuring out what I want to do with the whole soup theme of this.
Welcome to our soup kitchen. Hold out your bowl. You'll get some slop.
That's right. Let us serve
But we're gonna make sure it's good slop.
Yeah, it's gonna be good, but you also need to pay $5 and $5 and $4 if you want it. These games are cheap and worth it. I know everyone's like, I'll only get a free iPhone game or 99 cents or nothing. These are worth it, and they're not.
They're all polished games.
There's no extra stuff to download.
There's no ads.
There's no ads. You buy it and it's done and it's great, and you'll enjoy the experience I hope for all of these games. And I suggest you play them if you want to see what we're talking about. Anyways, that's our podcast, Soupbox. I don't know. You want to plug something, Trice? You got anything in the works?
Check out my SoundCloud if you like rap, jazz, fusion.
Yeah, I don't know. I should plug that the Soupbox podcast stuff. I've now made I'm pretty sure everything, if you just look up Soupbox Pod on most social media stuff, you'll find something. We have a Twitter account, Soupbox Pod.
We'll be putting on some fun soup related memes onto that.
Yeah. I'm gonna say if you want to get in touch with me about the podcast, giving us suggestions for games to play or what I should talk about next or something like that. I'm still figuring out what this podcast is, so let me know if you have any ideas. Either tweet at SoupboxPod or email at soupboxpodcast@gmail.com.
Share this with your friends. Share this on Reddit. Share it on iFunny. Share it on 9gag.
Share it on what's the one with the cat? LOL cheeseburger.
What?
There's this really stupid. Anyway,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm Amish.
Okay, so yeah. Let me know if you have any ideas for the podcast. Keep listening. Tell your friends. We'll see you when we get some more soup in the kitchen. I'll workshop that. All right.
All right.
Thanks for listening. Bye.